Hello, this is RSEKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today we're bringing you a new segment, and that is what should manufacturers do in 2014? Now, the first one we're going to start off with is Samsung. Why are we starting off with Samsung? Well, because they've had the best year out of anyone. So far, I think they probably, well, we'll get the final numbers in, I think, February generally, but they probably outsold every single other manufacturer combined, which is impressive, on smartphones. So with that, they have the best standing to either make a amazing year in 2014 or make a bad year in 2014. So let's see how it goes. First thing I'm going to talk about is, of course, the Galaxy S5. This is definitely their most anticipated phone that everyone's kind of waiting on and wait to see what it does. Whenever they do launch it, which I'm guessing will be March or April, since last year it was March when it was announced and April it came out. They average around 11 months, so we'll see. The S5, biggest thing is materials, of course. It does have to be a different material other than plastic to really grab people's attention. The reason why I say this is because you could take the S4, put metal on it, make a faster processor, call it the S5, and people will go crazy. Plain and simple. It was an amazing device last year. Really, the only problem that people had with it was the body type, and of course, some people still don't like TouchWiz. So that was pretty much it. So if you do the materials revamp, that's pretty much the big thing that needs to be done. I like the flux leather on the Note. I don't know if they will do that for this one, but I guess we'll wait and see. It could be aluminum. I would love magnesium. That's my favorite kind of material. But we'll see what they do with it. Removable components. This is very key for me. I like that Samsung has very easy repairability and that I can take out the battery and put in a micro SD. Very easy. This is something that cannot be said for any other major manufacturer's flagship, whether it be the iPhone, HTC One, G2, or Moto X. None of them are removable battery anymore. So that's a really big advantage that Samsung has, and I hope they don't lose it. Unfortunately, if they do go unibody, I haven't seen a manufacturer being able to keep removable battery with unibody. So we'll see. At least micro SD is more important if you can do it, Samsung. Speakers cannot be on the rear anymore. One thing that the S4 did have that I wish it didn't is speakers still on the rear. The Note 3 did get away from this. It was on the bottom. However, I do enjoy the stereo speaker quality on the HTC One or on my last year's Samsung tablets. They were always on the front, and I loved it. I don't know if they can do it on the front because of legality with HTC or anything like that. Maybe it look alike too much. But if they can, front speakers would be ideal. But one row of speakers instead of like the three holes version that HTC One has. It doesn't even have to be as loud as HTC One, but if they're on the front, that's all that really would matter. Or at least on the side, but on each side. So the top and the bottom instead of the rear. Battery is key to me. Now I know all manufacturers are coming out with 2K displays. If you don't know what that is, it is 2 times 1080p screens. So we're getting, well, roughly. So what we're getting is 2K displays this year from LG, from Samsung, from maybe HTC. But this is a big thing this year. Now, that is cool and all, but I don't want it to affect my battery life. I think battery life is much more important, and it's one of the things why I love the Note series more than the S series. If the S series had the battery life of the Note series, I probably wouldn't even have a Note. So that is my big thing that I love about the Note series is the battery life. It's amazing, and I want the S series to match that. It's happened on the S3, the S4. It was a good improvement on battery life. I want this to be the same with the S5. And finally, the last thing, have a better presenter, Samsung. I mean, this is my biggest pet peeve about the presentation from last year, is the presenters were idiotic. I mean, you can see on any review of the presentation from last year, they were like, "What is going on with this theatric?" And they try to go Broadway and all this kind of stuff. Look, that may be great in New York, but not worldwide. It didn't make a great impression, and it was just very lackluster. So hopefully they have better presenters. If you do need someone, Samsung, RCKY, the Android guy, will do it. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. All right, tablets. Now, there's been a lot of rumors going around that tablets are going to be a big push this year. Now, if that's true for Samsung's side, these are the things that they need to keep in mind. Number one, keyboards. Oh my God, have a keyboard. This would be my biggest thing that I would love to see on a Samsung tablet is a keyboard case or a keyboard dock, something reminiscent of either the Asus Transformer or the Surface. These two are ideal, and Samsung has done it with the Tab 3 in their, or sorry, Ative Tab 3 uh, on their Windows side, but they haven't done anything on their Android side. Android needs a keyboard. It makes it a lot more productive. You have the Note series with the pen, but especially if they're coming out with this Pro series, it should have a keyboard. It makes it more productive. That's my biggest thing that I want. Second thing is dual booting. Oh my god, when I saw that TQ from last year that Samsung was going to come out with, but then like no one heard about what was going on with it, that was very disappointing. But I just said, oh my god, I hope this isn't too much money because I'm going to have to buy this. Having Android and Windows on a tablet would be amazing. The fact that it can do dual booting, you can charge $600 for it and people will still get it. Why? Because that would just be ideal. I have to admit, I really want to keep my Surface tablet after reviewing it, simply for the fact, or go out and buy another one, simply for the fact that I really enjoyed using Office on the go. It was nice to use regular Office, PowerPoint, or type of Word document, or open an Excel sheet, and everything's the way it should be. I really did love that on the tablet, and I really wanted to kind of keep that. And again, I had the keyboard, which for my Note 10.1 2014 edition, I didn't have either of those. So I really would love a dual booting. It would seem perfect for me. The app usage from Android and the Office side from Windows, and then you have the best of both worlds. 4G tablets, I think, are something that Samsung really needs to go through. I can't tell you how many times I've gone inside of a carrier store and I've been using my Note 10.1 2014 edition, just had it on me. They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a Samsung tablet." They're like, "What? We don't have it." And like, "Oh no, it's only Wi-Fi." And like, they're like, "Why don't we have it?" So I always thought that was funny, and it's just something that it really needs to be more in carrier stores. The reason why, I believe that iPads have become very popular is because they do have a 4G version. So when you go into a carrier store, you have iPad minis and iPad Airs there. At carrier stores, I do believe Samsung has a couple tablets, but not mainstream. So I think they should start having a tablet version, Wi-Fi and LTE, at least at most major carriers. I mean, if you can't get all of them, try to get most of them. Uh, next question. Tab, Note, and Pro series? Are we gonna have 3 series, or are we? I think 2 series, 2 tiers are good because this past year Samsung had a 7-inch, 8-inch, and 10-inch tablet for the Tab series. So you had a Tab 3, 7, 8, and 10, and we had 2 Notes. We had a Note 8 and we had a Note 10.1 2014. So I think an addition of a Pro is just too many tiers at too many different price points. However, I think if we do it just like a Tab series and a Pro series, that might be good. I think all Pro should have the Note feature. We'll see what happens there. I mean, if a Pro is a dual boot, I'll shut up and just keep doing what you're doing. But that's what I would say is simplify it, maybe 2 tiers, but 3 tiers I think it's a bit much. We'll see though. Also, with your tablets, emphasize every tablet should have 3 things from Samsung. Split screen. Split screen is what makes the Samsung tablet different from every other Android tablet, so that is one thing that's really key. Multi-users, don't get rid of that. It's one thing that's really important for Android tablets to have multiple users, so that way it can be a parent and kid, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. Easy mode. Easy mode is really going to appeal to first-time tablet users that don't know what they're doing. Try catering it towards more of the tablet interface if you can, but if not, just make sure easy mode is on each of the tablets now. And also, either all the tablets should have Snapdragons or better Exynos processors. Unfortunately, one of the things that I didn't care for about the 2014 edition was the brand new octa-core Exynos. I was so excited to finally try out a full Exynos tablet, and I wasn't as impressed as my Snapdragon 800 on my Note 3. So either have this Exynos more stable, which you're coming out with the 64-bit supposedly on the Exynos S, and then there's the Exynos 6, I believe, that's going to be the true octa-core one. So there's all these kind of things going on. Note 4. What should you do about the Note 4? Whatever you want. The Note 3 was an amazing phone, and it's something that no one really complains about. So I still consider it the best phone of 2013. So keep doing what you're doing. I trust you on the Note series. You're doing a good job. The Galaxy Gear 2, I'm guessing? Galaxy Gear 2, four things to concentrate on with the Galaxy Gear 2. One, waterproof. Unfortunately, it just has to be made waterproof. The number one thing I always get people complaining about with the Galaxy Gear, oh, it's not water resistant. What if I'm doing this? What if I'm doing that? Like, I love my Gear. I think it's the best smartwatch out of the ones that are out right now. Could it be improved? Absolutely. But one of the things that I don't care about, but a lot of people do, is waterproof. Make it go 3 feet, and I think people would be happy. But you need to make it at least some form of water resistance. Battery life. If you can't get battery life to 2 or 3 days, I think that would be ideal for a second gear. More than a 1 day, I think if it just pushes to 2 or 3 days, I think that'll make it more ideal. I love the light weight of the gear though, so I don't know if that will be sacrificed for that. Private calls. The one thing that I will give this one company called Hotwatch is that they have private calling. One thing that I would like to do with my gear, look, I can have the gear at the side of my waist and people can still hear me, but I can't always hear it on the speaker. But if I had a way of doing private calling like this and being able to hear it, that would be so perfect. And it's something that I thought Samsung was going to have. Maybe they ran into legal issues or something, but it did not have private calling, and I wish that it could. If you could talk like this, and it just is able so you can hear it and no one else can, that would be ideal. And last thing is cost. Obviously, cost was another thing about the gear that people complained about, but hey, it sold over 800,000, so obviously they're not hurting at all. Um, I do think that cost was one thing that I could see that if it would change, it would help. But maybe even if the original Galaxy Gear drops down to 200 and this one is 300, I think that is reasonable for both the consumer and for Samsung to be able to do. We'll see what happens. And lastly, the curved display. Curved display is something that I don't think Samsung should try to be first to do, but try to be better to do. Look, LG is going to do their LG Flex and maybe another phone. I think if they do a curved display, Samsung should really do the unbreakable display, that you cannot break it, that there's no glass. That would just be amazing, and it would amaze everyone. I mean, think about this. If the iPhone 6 came out, right, and whatever they did and everything like that, and Samsung around that time did their curved display with unbreakable screen, that would be an amazing battle. That I would love to see how that would plan out. So, those are my suggestions for Samsung for 2014. Will they listen to me? Will they call me up? Will they email me and want me to present for their S5? Time will only tell. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and what do you think Samsung should do in 2014. Thank you for watching. This is RICKY, the Android Guy.